My hands are tingling, and I can feel my palms starting to be a little bit sweaty. And there's energy or heat moving from my stomach all the way up to my head and to my forehead. My heart is beating quite a lot faster than it was like 20 minutes ago. My mouth is also pretty dry. And there are thoughts saying something like, "What are you doing here? Maybe you should get out." And all these sensations that I'm describing to you, they can probably be summarized as something like nervousness or being excited, like being nervous or being excited about giving a TED talk. And by merely observing and describing to you what I'm experiencing, I'm actually able to not follow my first impulse, not follow my first reaction of getting out, because this is scary and this is pretty uncomfortable, but I would rather stay. I would rather stay and continue to tell you something about meditation. Continue to tell you what meditation can be, how it can be practiced, and why I'm convinced that almost everybody should at least try it out for a while and really experience what meditation is about. My name is Markus. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a neuroscientist, and as we've heard, I have about 12 years of pretty regular meditation experience, and I can convincingly say that there is no other behavior in my daily life that has had as many positive impacts on all other areas of my life as meditation has had. So let's begin with the elephant in the room. What is meditation? And obviously, in today's age, I talked to ChatGPT about this, and I asked it. It told me that it's a mental practice that involves focusing your mind and eliminating distracting thoughts to achieve calm, clarity, and awareness. It's very often used to reduce stress and improve immune function. Is it though? Is that really all that meditation is about? I beg to differ. I wouldn't say that meditation is primarily about eliminating distracting thoughts, and there is also so much more to meditation than merely reducing stress or improving immune function. But before I can tell you what I think meditation is, I want to tell you what meditation is not. And this might seem counterintuitive at the beginning, but bear with me here. Because very often when I talk to people and I ask them, "Do you meditate?" they answer something like, "No, I'm just not good at it. I have so many racing thoughts." Or, "No, I don't want to get involved with any religion, so I hope I can take away these false preconceptions." Because meditation doesn't have to do anything with metaphysical beliefs. You don't have to believe in the afterlife, you don't have to believe in any higher beings, and you don't have to follow any religion. At this point, meditation can be practiced in a completely secular and science-based way. Moreover, meditation is not about eliminating distracting thoughts. Thoughts are the natural process of the mind. They will always be there, but meditation is much more about observing them and being able to deal with them in a different way. So thoughts are just going to be there. This might be a little disappointing to some of you, but meditation shouldn't be primarily about blissful states. There might be moments where you feel bliss on the inside and it feels really good, but if you don't have this, that shouldn't make you stop meditating, because meditation is about more than merely achieving blissful states. And lastly, I hope I can convince you that meditation is not merely the next fancy health booster around the corner that people start doing because studies are showing that it lowers blood pressure, it might reduce stress a little bit, but meditation is more than this. So what is meditation? And here I need to be clear, because there are so many forms of meditation, like transcendental meditation where you have a mantra, there is loving kindness meditation, and there is insight meditation, also called vipassana, and it's the type of meditation that I'll be talking about because it's the one that I've been practicing, and it's the one that's by far the most studied at this point. What is insight meditation? It's a form of mental practice. And mental practice as opposed to physical practice. We all know going to the gym or going for a run, you're practicing your body, what other people can see, but meditation is about mental practice. What is happening on the inside, what people can't see. And as far as I'm concerned, this should be at least as important as physical practice. What are we practicing? We are practicing to cultivate a certain mind state. And by mind state, I mean, what is your mind like while you are experiencing the world out there? And the mind state that we are trying to cultivate is called mindfulness. It's a pretty loaded term, but it means nothing else than observing without any judgment what is happening on the outside and how it arrives in the mind. So it's non-judgmental awareness of whatever comes in. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, whatever happens, you just let it come in and observe it without holding on to what feels good or pushing away what doesn't feel good. You just observe it. And we need to do this moment by moment by moment again, because it's not natural to stay mindful all the time. That's why we need to practice in the next moment again and then again. So it's a continuous process that we need to keep up in this form of mental practice. So it's a form of mental practice. We are training the mind to cultivate the mind state of mindfulness. Non-judgmental, open awareness to whatever arrives in the mind. And we do this moment by moment again. Now we have an idea of what insight meditation can be. How could you start meditating? And here I would advise everybody to make use of digital applications like, for example, the Waking Up app or Headspace, because it really helps to get a habit going, to have a guide that guides you through the first weeks of meditation and helps you to really have the insights that meditation can have. Then I would recommend to allocate a certain location at your home. Put down a cushion or maybe a chair and take this as a self-care for yourself. Meditation is something you do for yourself, and because you do it for yourself, you will be better with others. Set aside a location at home and a time of the day. For most people, it's the mornings. Maybe for you, it's the evenings. And then you sit down. You can sit on a chair. You can be on your knees. You could be cross-legged. It doesn't really matter, but arrive at wherever you are. Sit down like you have a purpose. You want to practice the mind. So you sit down, you have a spine erect, and you close your eyes. And we've heard this several times tonight. The breath is something that we always carry with us. Oxygen, we need all the time, but we rarely focus on the breath. So you sit and you start focusing on the breath, how it goes in and out, and in and out again. Don't force it. Don't have any artificial breathing. Just focus on what happens with the breath. And after a while, you start being mindful of what else happens in the mind. There will be thoughts, I can promise you that, many more than you have experienced before. There might be sensations, there might be emotions like doubt or pain. But be mindful of whatever happens. And whenever you feel that you're getting carried away by this, go back to the breath. You always have it. It's the anchor point that we carry with us all the time. You focus on a couple breaths, and then you go back to being mindful. And this circle, that is the mental practice of insight meditation, where you focus on the breath, and then you start being mindful again. And it will help you to be mindful in day-to-day life. So to actually give you a feeling of what that might be like, I would like everybody in here to sit up very straight in your chair and put both feet on the floor, spine erect, and lift your head, the crown of your head, to the ceiling so your chin is slightly tilted. And now close your eyes, please. And start focusing on the breath. Don't force it, but let it come in and out. And in and out. And then be mindful of what else is there. Are there some interesting thoughts? Can you feel how you're sitting in the chair? Are there any emotions? And whenever you get carried away, you go back to the breath, because I can promise you it is there. And now please open your eyes again. This was about 1 minute, and I'm pretty certain that to many of you this felt quite a lot longer than a minute, but that's normal. That's part of experiencing meditation and experiencing the mind however it is, and we need to practice this. Like physical practice, meditation is a form of mental practice, where we get to know ourselves better and we get to know what happens on the inside. So now I've told you what meditation can be and how meditation can be practiced. Lastly, I want to convince you why you should start meditating. And as a scientist, I brought along some scientific data, but you don't have to read this. I'll summarize it for you very quickly. It can lower anxiety and depressive symptoms when used together with psychotherapy and medication. It can enhance attention, memory, and mood regulation, and it has been shown to lead to structural changes in the brain, like thickening the cortex and enhancing certain connections in the brain that are very beneficial, that we would want. So this is a pretty good start. I mean, this would convince me to start, but let's have the following thought experiment. Let's imagine by tomorrow, none of these studies could be replicated. We would have no signs of meditation whatsoever. Would I stop meditating? Would my TED Talk no longer stand? No. I would continue meditating, and I would give you the same message that I've been giving you. And that is because of this quote from Sam Harris, who says that the quality of your mind determines the quality of your life. And I stand by this. However the quality of your mind is determines how you experience the world, how you can deal with the world on the external and on the internal. And meditation is a great way to achieve a great quality of mind. So why should you meditate? Meditation can change your mind. By observing mindfully what happens, you can take in everything that happens around you and just observe it and be aware of what happens in day-to-day life. And that I find a very intriguing thing. Meditation can allow you to respond differently to the external world and to the internal world, because we can't really change what happens on the external, but we can change how we respond to it. We don't need to react impulsively to everything that happens, but we can respond deliberately and take a step back. And that to me is something of a superpower, to actually be able to hold on and respond deliberately instead of reacting. And lastly, meditation allows you to let go and begin again. To let go of anger or grief, sadness, frustration that you might carry with you for hours, days, or maybe even weeks. But meditation allows you to let go much sooner and to begin in the next moment. And that makes life sometimes so much lighter, so much easier. So lastly, I would like to leave you with the words of this man, Mathieu Ricard, who is a French cell biologist, then turned monk, long-term meditator, who was coined the happiest man in the world due to his brain activity while he was meditating. And something that he says in one of his books is that by happiness he means here a deep sense of flourishing that arises from an exceptionally healthy mind. And meditation is one way to achieve such an exceptionally healthy mind, and thereby allows us to come much closer to happiness. Thank you.